Hey guys, I have this little problem. If you saw my 7 strange, weird strange things about me tag, I can't remember exactly how it's worded. You will know that one of the things that I mentioned, if you haven't seen that, I will link it up here because you might want to know some weird, strange things about me. And there's going to be a part 2 because some of my major ones I forgot to mention. Weird. Anyway, one of the things I mentioned is that I cannot leave the house without makeup on and something done to my hair. Like my hair, I can't just air dry and have it down. So I thought today would be a perfect way to, okay, here's the thing. So like I said, I cannot leave the house without makeup on. However, even when I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to throw a little something on just so I feel better before I go out, it always ends up being way more than what I typically meant to. So I might be wearing like workout attire like this because this might be a good scenario of how these things happen. Like say my husband comes home and says, we could use a few things from the store. Do you want to go with me? He grocery shops. He's phenomenal in every way possible. But he's, do you want to go with me? And he's like, we'll go to Starbucks and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I don't need to get dressed up or going to the grocery store and running through Starbucks, but I also cannot leave the house without doing something to myself. But then I end up with like a full face of makeup with workout attire on, which is kind of a weird, you can do whatever you want. That's totally fine. But I'm saying for me, when I'm like in my mind thinking I'm just going to throw a little something on my face, it becomes way more than I mean for it to. So one of my amazing subscriber friends, her name is Sue. She is Celestial Row here on YouTube. She doesn't have a channel, but she does have, last I knew, 76 subscribers for her invisible content, as she calls it. So she's super sweet. She's always on all of my lives. I do a live stream every Tuesday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern time. So if you are around and want to check it out and just come and hang out and chat, that's what we do. And so she is very supportive of me, and she requested that I do a no makeup look. And she actually requested this a long time ago, and so I'm sorry, Sue, that it took me so long, but I'm going to do that for you today because I thought, you know what, I'm dressed in these clothes. This is usually how my hair would be after I've been, like if I'm just at home doing stuff or whatever. And if that were the situation where I just need to throw something on to feel good about going out, but I don't need like a full face of makeup, like glam style, Glamburger style. So we are going to see today what I can do here. So I've got some products laid out in front of me, and we're gonna see what we can do. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my eyeshadow primer. I always use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer because it is my tried and true. And if I do not put a primer on my lids, they're greasy. Like I should have showed you before I just wiped, even just from after taking my shower earlier and stuff, and I just have my moisturizer and stuff on. My eyelids were really oily. That's what they do. I have very oily skin, and so I have to have this even if I didn't put anything else on my lids. It's just like something to keep them from being oily looking, So there's that. So I thought I would go ahead and use some eyeshadow, but I'm going to go real light with it, which is very unusual for me. So I'm going to use the Profusion Bare palette. These Profusion 10-pan palettes, I have several of them. I absolutely love them. I take them places with me all the time. They travel well. And if they break, you don't worry about it because they are like $4.98 at Walmart. So they, to me, are like the perfect travel companion palette. So I'm going to just go in this Polite shade up here. And we're just going to put that all over the, lid everywhere. Just to bring like a nice evenness to the eyes. Okay, and then I'm going to take this shade right here called Fine, and I'm just going to run that through the crease real quick. Just to give a little bit of depth in the crease area, and since I have such hooded lids. Okay, so that just added a little bit of depth to the crease. Nothing major. Like, I don't think you'd really know I was wearing makeup. Now, this is where I would put shimmer on my lid, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go back into that first shade, that Polite, and I'm going to use my finger so it's just a little bit thicker. And I'm just going to dust that onto my lids. And then it's sloppy right there. We're going to take that fine shade again. There is a lot of kick up in these pans, just so you know, but they're $4.98 and the pigmentation is nice, and yeah. And then I'm just, you know, buffing that over just to get rid of anything harsh along the edge there. And that is going to be the main part of my eye look. Okay, this is weird. This is not me, but it could be me, you know, for certain times. Okay, my lips are killing me right now. They're feeling really dry. I had pulled just this Tokyo Milk gloss because it's just a simple gloss. So I'm just going to throw a little of that on real quick because I can't stand sitting here with my lips feeling dry. So it's just a simple clear gloss. It just adds a slight bit of shine. Nothing like, it's not like I'm wearing lipstick or a colored gloss. Okay, so next I am going to go ahead and do this e.l.f. Cookies and Dreams. Just a little bit of primer because I need a little bit of primer. So that's what we're gonna do. I did discover that digging my finger into this, the first time I used this on camera, I was like, what do I even do with this? And I was just rubbing my finger in it, which was like not giving me enough product, and it was weird feeling. So then I realized if I just stick my finger in a tiny bit, I can just, you know, slap some on. It does have a slight like cookies and cream scent, but nothing major. I actually wish it had more of one. That's kind of why I bought it, because it was just like the allure of the idea of it smelling good, but whatever. It's not my favorite primer, but it'll work. It'll work. Okay. Then I'm going to do a couple things different than I typically do here too. So first off, I'm going to take this MAC strobe cream, and I'm going to use this where I would use highlighter because I'm not going to use a powdered highlight because I'm trying to just do, you know, a no makeup. I want it to be like more of a natural glow. So I'll put it in all the places I typically use highlighter. So I like to bring my highlight up and around my eye here. So we're just gonna rub that in, give a little glow that will be underneath some of my, you can mix this with foundation if you want. I have oily skin, so I wouldn't do that because then my whole face will just kind of look too shiny. So I just want to put it where I would put highlight. And I'm gonna do a little more on the cheeks. And just try to give where you'll see like a, you know, just a nice glow, but not like an obvious, like I have highlighter on. Because the whole point is looking like I don't really have makeup on. Like I just look like I just naturally look good. Okay, and then next I am going to do my Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. So it's just you know, a skin tint basically, not a foundation. This is all I use anyway, so I do not want, and I'm just going to use a little bit just to kind of even out my skin tone a little bit, but nothing, because I have a lot of redness like in my cheeks and stuff. But we are not trying to look like, you know, full glam. Okay, now I am going to use some of this NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum because it's very thin. You just need the tiniest amount, like seriously the tiniest amount. And I'm gonna just use that much and just get like, I've got my red dot that I like to cover. And then just, you know, in some of the places like on my cheeks and stuff where I get more red, my chin, that kind of thing. Like this stuff just goes and goes and goes. Like the tiniest little amount is all you need. Okay, next we are going to use just a liquid blush. So I'm just going to kind of put a couple little dots on my face. Same thing, I like to take my blush up into my temple area. So that's what I'm going to do. I think we'll go ahead next and do some setting powder, just a light dusting. I have to do some kind of setting powder. My skin is way too oily to not, or I will just be a mess. But I am going to spray it with setting spray that will help like meld it all together so it won't look powdery. But I've got to get some kind of powder or I will be a disaster. Okay, so just a little bit like that. And then next I am going to use a little bit of bronzer. I am going to use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer because it's not very dark. This is a brand new one that my friend V sent me. The Cringe Queen, Queen of Cringe. She, yeah, she sent that to me. So I've been waiting to get into it and I'm like, okay, this is it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to get a little on my brush. I just want to use it ever so lightly. And like I said, this is a fairly light shade. It's not, you know, like a really dark bronzer shade. So we're just going to give that slight little bit of warmth to the face, but not too much. Remember, it's a no makeup look. So that little tiny bit. And then what's next, kids? So for eyebrows, I am not going to draw my brows in because that would be really obvious that I have makeup on then because my brows would look really structured. And so without a full face of makeup otherwise, really, I feel like that will just make my eyebrows stand out really strangely. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and use my NYX Tinted Brow Mascara and just kind of go over them a little bit so that they stay in place better, but don't look like a really structured brow. And I like to just get as much off as I can so there's just a little bit on there. Otherwise it can make a mess. And while everything in me right now is screaming for me to draw a tail on my brows, I'm not going to because I'm trying to keep it natural looking. So we're just gonna leave it there. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the bottom lash line. I need to add a little bit of depth underneath there because I feel like I look really old and tired if I don't. So I'm still just gonna go into that fine shade and just run that underneath. killing me, kids. It's killing me. Okay. And then we are going to take, I am going to just curl my lashes. No big thing. And I am going to take the just this Essence liner, and it's in But First Espresso. And I'm going to tightline my upper lash line. That just gives depth at your lash line. It makes your lashes look a little thicker, so can't go wrong with that. And then I'm going to use another one of those Essence pencils. These are the Extreme Lasting eyeliners. Fabulous. Fabulous. Highly recommend. Super inexpensive. Phenomenal. And this is the Silky Nude. And I'm just going to run that in the waterline to just keep it light and looking natural. And then I'm just going to do one coat of the Wet n Wild Big Papa mascara, because I don't want it to look like I've got a bunch of mascara on my lashes, but I do want them to be, you know, defined. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, then I'm just going to take this ColourPop Pretty Fresh. It's their like hydrating hyaluronic acid setting mist, and we're just going to spray so that the powder I put on does just meld in and look like skin. I'm going to put a tiny more of this on my lips. And that is my no makeup look. So I went ahead and I took a picture before I put the makeup on. So I am going to take a picture now and show you a side-by-side, and we will see how I looked with nothing compared to with this. Okay? Okay. So what do you think? How did I do? I won't know until I look back in editing. So obviously I have a little more definition like to my eyes, even just having like a slight little bit of mascara and stuff. But I kept things extremely simple. So you just see more of like a natural glow because I put that, you know, strobe cream. So you can do any kind of like a liquid highlight or something underneath. And I love this liquid blush. I feel like it's very just a natural flush, and did a little on my nose, you know, because I like that little tiny bit of a sun-kissed look. And then that bronzer is nice and light, so it just gives a little bit of color to my face, like a slight bit of warmth, but not like I think you'd look at me and go, oh, she's wearing bronzer. And obviously the lip is just a very simple gloss. Obviously you can tell I have gloss on, but I wouldn't count that as being like I have makeup on. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you need moisture on your lips, and a lot of times it has slight glossiness to it, so I don't feel like that should count. The eyebrows I kept very simple by not drawing them in, so you can see my, you know, my imperfections, some little bald spots I have and things like that I usually fill in with a pencil, but not terrible, right? And then my eye makeup, extremely simple. And it's hard for me to look at myself without something dark underneath my lash line, because I'm used to that. And yeah, though, I think I feel like this, I would feel good to go out, feel like I look put together, but not like over the top. Like I feel like it goes pretty naturally, like with what I have on. So it's not like you'd look at me and be like, why is that chick like fully done up and she looks like she's going to work out? You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait to hear what you think, Sue. Did I do a good job? I hope this is what you were hoping for, or what you were looking for me to do, you know, because I don't do a no makeup look. Like, I never do. And anybody who watches this knows that, because it's just not, you know, what I typically do. But there are definitely times and places where I would prefer actually to just do something simple like this. And I'm just so used to going ham with eyeshadow that, and then, you know, it's like once you do a bolder eye, you feel like you need all of the other makeup to like go all along with it. Otherwise it looks strange to have all the eye makeup but like nothing anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? So I see you know what I'm saying a lot. I'm realizing that. But yeah, I have an appreciation for makeup like this too, and I understand why there are people who this is their typical makeup. Obviously a lot faster than doing, you know, a more in-depth eyeshadow look and stuff. So like I said, I do enjoy this. I do see where this would fit into my life in those certain circumstances. I'm still going to be an eyeshadow and full makeup lover. That's still going to be what I do the majority of the time. But it was fun to sit and do this and play with some of these, like the liquid products especially are great for the more natural looks. So, so thank you, Sue, for inspiring me to play with those things and do something a little bit different. Let me know what you guys think. Are you like, girl, you should do this more often. You look better with less makeup on. If you say that, I won't even think you're mean. It's okay. If I was just saying, I'm like, I know there are people who look at me and think I wear too much makeup, but here I am over here enjoying life in my joy-filled, you know, full makeup face. That's what I love. It's what makes me feel good. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what you should do too. Whatever makes you feel best. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.